I'd rather die than read another diet book in my lifetime. Hi, my name's Morgan, and today is my 35th day of the Bright Line Eating Bootcamp. That means that 35 days ago, I gave up all sugars, cane sugar, stevia, monk fruit. I have also given up all flours, gluten-free or otherwise. I've not been snacking or eating between meals. 35 days, I have not been doing any emotional eating during these weird times that we're living in. In addition to all of that, I have been meditating every single one of those 35 days. So basically, I am killing this whole apocalyptic times, what the fuck is happening world. And you can too, and I'm gonna tell you how. This crazy time is actually the best time to start. If you feel like the world is just spinning out of control and your focus is out there, that is a recipe for disaster. Bright Line Eating gives you the proper tools to implement these big, audacious goals like kicking a sugar addiction or giving up sugar and flour. That's no joke hard. There's a likelihood that you've tried it before, I'm guessing. But ultimately, I don't think that Bright Line Eating is about losing weight. I've come to find out, for me, that Bright Line Eating is more about setting boundaries. And as someone who is just learning how to do that for maybe the first time in my life at the age of 39, starting to set boundaries with your food, an integral part of our life. We're laying down a foundation for how to live your life from a place of integrity and authenticity. Right now, more than ever, I firmly believe we need more of us showing up in that state of mind. Setting boundaries with your food is teaching you how to set boundaries with yourself. And then it carries over into setting healthy boundaries with other people in your life. For some of us, we might be learning how to make our own well-being and personal care a priority in our lives for the first time ever. I thought I would tell you a little bit about myself and how I came across Bright Line Eating, because it was not 35 days ago, it was actually 2 years ago. This little series of videos that I'll be doing comes with a lot of experimentation, and I'm here to tell you from personal experience, you should not do those things. You should just, I won't say should, don't should on yourself. It is in your best interest to listen to the neuroscientist on this one, at least in the beginning. I am a 10 on the susceptibility scale. Hi. I have a very addictive personality. But as a 10 on the susceptibility scale, some of us 10s are just gonna 10. Or some of you might be like, oh dude, I've got a problem and I'm gonna stay on the straight and narrow, and you should do that. For the love of God, just do it that way. Okay, so this is how Bright Line Eating came into my life 2 years ago. I am one of those people that I believe that divine timing, and I needed to discover this, and I don't know if at that time I was fully prepared to commit to it in the way that I am now. 2 years of bleh. One of my favorite stores in the town that I live in is this place called The Alchemist, and it's like in kind of like a shishi fancy outdoor mall area, and I'm not a mall person, but I love this store so much. And it's a little woo-woo. A little bit. It's not in your face. If you have a bent towards or an interest in like the more woo, it's the best energy. It's such a good vibe and I love it. It's a good place to go. I went in there just to go look at crystals and shit. Even though I need another book, like I need another hole in my head, I always kind of beeline for that section. I'm like a moth to a flame. I can't help it. Personal development, self-helpy genre, and I just can't help myself. Along this beautiful wall of books, there's this book. And because it's a little bit of a hippie witchy vibe, I thought, there must be some sort of magical secrets in this book. And surely there's something, I don't know, mystical about it. I pick up the book and I'm kind of just briefly glancing at it and I'm like, looks like another freaking diet book to me. I'd rather die than read another diet book in my lifetime. Freaking kidding me. Why is this in the hippie magic store? But it kind of gnawed at my brain a little bit. Like, why would Jane have that in there? And made a mental note of the title and the author. And I went home and I looked up reviews. And I love reading reviews on books before I buy them. And I won't just read the negative reviews, even though I really enjoy that too. 5-star reviews on this book were mind-blowing. It wasn't just people's opinions. There were people reviewing this book who were like, hi, I'm a 65-year-old postmenopausal woman with a thyroid condition, and I lost 80 pounds on Bright Line Eating, and I've kept it off for 5 years. Go look. Usually when you're like reading reviews on some sort of nutrition diet book, there's a lot of just like fluffy personal opinion. These reviews are data driven, results specific, and you just do not see that kind of thing on any other like weight loss diet book. It doesn't exist. Dare you to prove me wrong. So as impressive as all those reviews were, I was still like, not gonna read it. Really suffered and struggled with weight gain. Backstory for another day, ladies and gentlemen. Really suffering with having put up on a lot of weight and really struggling with taking it off. Never gonna happen. I had just given up all hope. My background professionally for the last 6 years has been in like the health and wellness industry. I work at a little independent health food store. I talk about health related topics all day, every day with lots of strangers and lots of people I've just gotten to know over the last 6 years. When I'm at work, there are times that I have an opportunity to kind of like be in the back room and I can listen to headphones. And this particular time I had been delving into the Wellness Mama podcast. She's a blogger. I was very familiar with her blog, had just recently found out that she had a podcast, and it's very like granola healthy. And lo and behold, on her podcast, there is an interview with Susan Pierce Thompson. Have I heard that name before? Oh, that's right. The witchy woo-woo book that wasn't at The Alchemist. There it is again. So I decided to listen to it. It's a long interview. It's an hour and a half long. I'm going to link it down in the notes because I rarely tell people to read the book. I usually say, you should check out this interview, and if it resonates with you at all, you know, maybe consider checking out this other thing. So I listened to this hour and a half long interview at work, and I was like, how did this woman crawl inside my brain and know everything about me? At the time, food and what to eat and what not to eat and physical appearance and how I felt my body and how my clothes fit, I didn't even fully recognize how much gray matter that was taking up. Like, it was all consuming. And so really listening to a woman talk about these things, it really did feel like she knew everything about me because my life had been distilled down to this one thing that I couldn't get a grasp on, and it was so frustrating. And so I was like, okay, I don't know, maybe there's something to this. So I went on my lunch break, I ordered the book online. It was gonna take a while to get to me, and I couldn't wait that long. I mean, like 5 days. And I was like, I need to know now. I went into the public library and checked it out. I finished it in 2 days. Then the book showed up at my house and I have my own hard copy. You decide to read this book, and you should. First half is just the science of how food affects our brain, specifically flour and sugar. First half is your why. The second half is how. How the hell do I do something like give up flour and sugar when you just told me that it's the most addictive substance known to man? In her youth was addicted to meth. The woman is coming at this thing honest, not from an academic, learned this in a book and I've studied all these things. She has that aspect of it. She's brilliant, but then she's got this whole like, oh, and let me tell you, because I did it. I've done it. And giving up sugar and flour was harder than giving up meth. What the fuck? I actually have a very good dear friend of mine who upon this discovery, I sat on the floor at a Barnes & Noble and just like pecked out with my thumbs on my phone this long ass email and like, this has blown my mind. And she responded with like, oh, I think I used to own that book and I don't think it was for me and I gave it away. So I sent her a link to that specific podcast and she listened to it and same reaction like, what? So 2 years ago, she dove into this after I had introduced her to it. She turns 80 this year. She was pre-diabetic. So pre-diabetic 80-year-old woman loses 100 pounds and soon to be 80-year-old woman loses 100 pounds and keeps it off for a year. That's crazy. Our brains are very similar. I think it's gonna resonate with you too. And then she did and proceeded to lap my ass repeatedly. And has been so supportive of me in my 35 days of Bright Lines. Been a short and long journey all at once, and I'm really looking forward to keeping you up to date on how it goes and sharing more with you about so many things I want to talk to you about. And I encourage you, if this is finding you and you are at all curious, the time is now. It really is. And you know, please keep me posted on how you're doing or where you're at, or if you're making videos, we'll talk about this in the future. Will you tell me so I can watch them? Because I'm looking for like, you know, regular people, not just a neuroscientist who are making videos, and I found some, but there aren't enough of you because this is really, really cutting edge, groundbreaking stuff that I think could change people's lives, and it's changing mine. And I can't wait to tell you more. And so we'll do this again. Thank you so much for listening to this first video. I'm only wearing one earring. I don't know. I hope you have a really, really good week, and I'll see you again soon, okay?